Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's October 28th, 2022. It is a little colder, or it is seasonable again. Yesterday it was 20. With humidity, it felt like 26. There were records that had broken that stood for 60 years that have broken here in the province. So it was beautiful, and it's been beautiful all week. Today the temperature dropped. It was actually about 1 or 2 degrees this morning when I left for work. People were actually scraping their windows to get the frost off. I think it's about 9 or 10 degrees now, which is about seasonable, what we're expecting. Now this weekend, it's talking about going back up into 13, 14 degrees. So it's still nice. The sun is going to be out, so it'll be time to do some more yard work, unfortunately, but we'll get some of that done. Now, today, because it's Friday, it's the mail weekday. All this stuff showed up this week, including things are starting to show up at my P.O. box, so it's nice to see a transition from the old address into the new one. So I'm going to show you that. Also, a new stamp was issued, so let me show you that one first. So here's the new stamp. Born on St. Peter's Reserve, Manitoba, into the Brokenhead Ojibwe Nation, Sergeant Thomas, or he goes by Tommy, George Prince, was born in 1915 and passed away in 1977, was one of Canada's most decorated Indigenous soldiers. During the Second World War, he was a reconnaissance expert, known for his marksmanship, stealth, and tracking skills. His bravery and service earned him 11 medals, including the Silver Star, and 3 from the Korean War, where he did 2 tours of duty. Between the wars, he waged a different battle when, as vice president of the Manitoba Indian Association, he spoke out in favor of the abolishing of the Indian Act and respecting existing treaties. So, another Indigenous person has made stamps here. When we had the Truth and Reconciliation stamps that came out before that, so it's kind of nice to see another one popping up. And how beautiful is it with the Aurora Borealis in the background, or the Northern Lights. So thank you, Canada Post, for another issue. Now let's get to some post-crossing and show you some of the cards that showed up this week. I had 5 officials, and we're going to start right there. So this first one comes from the Netherlands, and said this is one of their most beautiful gardens in the Netherlands. I'm going to flip it around because it is written the other direction. I'll show you. There's the stamp. Cool buildings like that. I like the heavy cancellation mark through it here too. And says that she's a retired teacher, and this is the most famous garden in her country. Lots of visitors visit each year. There's actually statistics here on the bottom that says annually attracts 1 million visitors from around the world at a 32-hectare park, bulbs, flood farms, and most famous for the tulips, of course. So thank you for that. That comes from Maria. My next card comes from Germany, and it's a multi-view card. And so he's 57 years old. Been married 32 years, have 2 adult sons, favorite color is green, and every day she wears something that is green. And on the back, that is the stamp that was issued for it. So thank you so much for that. My next card comes from Japan, and it says, I see that you like blue cats. This is a little different. So yeah, we've got a blue tiger, not quite the blue cats, but I really do like it. I like the art that goes along with this one here. And she says, happy post-crossing. And there is the stamp. Like the mailbox, Japanese style mailboxes. They're really cool. They're almost, well, they are kind of a adaptation of the English mailbox. So, but yeah, whenever I see a Japanese mailbox, they really stand out to me. So thank you so much for the card, the stamp. I appreciate it. The next card actually just came today. This is from Poland. And if you know what this says, please translate it for me. Let me know what's going on there. On the back, it says that she's a 77-year-old, and she has 3 children and loves spending time all together. So spending family time. So this is from Beta. So thank you so much for that card and that stamp. I really appreciate it. And you can see that I'm still using my brother's advice of doing a little bit to save the planet. Instead of doing sticky notes, we are doing recipe cards with the paper clip, and it works way better for being able to reuse and not going through as much paper as I used to be doing before. I also noticed that Renee Lewis, if you haven't been watching her, but you should be on YouTube, she has now adopted that too. So thank you so much, Renee, for making the switch, and hopefully it makes a difference in the planet a little bit by saving a little bit of paper. All right, the next one I have is coming from Germany again. It comes in one of these envelopes. I haven't seen one of these envelopes in quite some time. When we used to always get correspondence from our family in England, these are the type of things that they used to come on. You used to unfold it and you could write the whole message on the inside of the envelope and stick it all together. So it was kind of nice to see that again. I'm going to show you the stamps that came, the bullet train, really cool. And inside the envelope, we have this really cool card. So you can see all the postal workers are busy loading up the postal train, or the train that's taking all the mail and parcels on to the next stop. Really like this. Very cool vintage card. And there's the stamp on the back. And so this is a card that he said he found. He found it at a local flea market not too long ago, and likes to go there. So lots of rest I won't read to you, but I really wanted to thank him for that. As a postal worker, it brings back or gives me feelings of what people had to do in the past to do things. When I was working in Sackville, New Brunswick, we had a gentleman there that used to do the bags as the train came by. You kind of put the bag on a big hook, and as the train came by, it didn't stop, but it was able to reach out and grab the bag of mail and bring it in. So that's what reminded me of when I saw that people still not that long ago did that in order to try to transport the mail by train to other places. All right, moving along. This one comes from Monaco. It is a swap, and it comes from my friend Andre in Estonia. He was traveling along in the travels that he does. And I just want to make sure this paper clip's in the right spot. There we go. If you see these stamps from Monaco, this actually has a felt heart. It's textured. I don't know if there's a way that I can show that it's not even with the paper. There's probably the best view of it, that you can see that it sticks out. But how cool is that stamp that it has a textured felt to it? And it says Fight AIDS Monaco. And the other one is, can't even read it but it's The Rights of Children is the other one. So Rights of Children and the Fighting of AIDS here. So thank you, Andre, for that and your travels and Merit. I like the fact that both of you have your initials on it too now. So it brings me joy. All right. This next one is a B-29 Super Fortress. It comes from Zach, and Zach is in Illinois. And, he said that. There is no stamp on the back. It's kind of a sticker postage on it. Just kind of tells you about the aircraft. It says a 4-engine heavy bomber was designed for high-altitude strategic bombing and dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, becoming the only aircraft ever to use nuclear weapons in combat. So, very sad. I'm glad that it helped end the Second World War, and unfortunately that was how it had to do. But there's a very historical aircraft. So thank you, Zach. All right, this next one, go the right direction. Here we go. Comes from Kristen. She's in Sweden. Been a while since I've heard from her, so I was glad to get a card from her. Over the summer, she said this is where she was spending her summer. So what a beautiful spot to spend her summer. And they got a new dog, so she's been spending time with the new dog, and it's been helping her out. And there are the Swedish stamps. Doesn't that look delicious? Well, both of them look delicious for that matter. So thank you, Kristen, for that. This one is a Halloween card, and it comes from Jilly B. You know her from YouTube, Jilly B Living Her Life Her Way. Go check her out. There's lots of different things here. I'll move it in here. You can see in each of the windows there's something going on. Very spooky, very creepy, but perfect for Halloween. And we've decorated the back. We've got some Halloween stickers. We've got some Spider-Man and Pride stamps on there. So thank you so much. All right. This one, once again, repositioned so we can see everything properly. An envelope. This comes from Kim, and she's in the United States. And you can see we've got one of the new peanut stamps there, among other stamps. She's really put a lot of different stamps on there for me to enjoy. So thank you for that. We've got some Halloween theming along the back with some stickers. And inside the envelope, we have this United Nations postcard. So it was found in a collection, and she thought she would send it on to me. Originally it went to this gentleman, and there's the United Nations stamp that's on it, and the United Nations cancellation mark. You can see that it was canceled in 1953 in New York when they were there, and it's now ended up here. So almost 70 years later, this card, which is still in really good condition, nice shape, has made it to a new home, a new collection. And she also included some other things in this package, but I'm going to save that for another video. So we're going to put that one aside. So thank you, Kim, for thinking of me and sending along this envelope and its contents, and the really cool United Nations postcard stamp. Okay. This one comes from the Ukraine. It's from Christina, and I've been very fortunate. This is to have a trade with her. And on the back, she's made it into a bit of a maxi card. So you can see that the stamp matches the postcard. And she's included some other stamps in there too. Which of them there. And we've got a Ukrainian flag here, all done up on fabric. That's why I'm turning it sideways. So you can see that it's raised from the postcard. And she said this postcard and stamp depict real events that took place in the regions when the Ukrainian peasants, Let's start that again. This postcard and stamp depict real events that took place in regions when Ukrainian peasants without weapons took away Russian equipment, helping the armed forces. So there you go. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the card and all the decorations coming out to me. All right. Next, we have this envelope and stamps that have not been canceled. This comes from Kyler in Prince Edward Island. And if you've seen any of the videos in the past that have Kyler in it, you know that he sent some stamps along, so they're going to make it into another video. But he did send these postcards as Grand Pré in Nova Scotia. He says every time he drives through, he has to stop and go there and look off and see things. Asked me if I've been there. I haven't. I've traveled through a few times, but I've never stopped and taken a look, so I may have to do that in the future. On the back, there is no stamp because it was inside an envelope. But he also sent me this. It's not doing it as big a justice as 3D elephant card on camera as it is in real life. They really do look like they're popping out of the card. It is probably the best 3D card that I've seen. That's blank, so it means it's going to go off to someone else. And the other contents that are in it will show up in another video. So thank you so much, Kyler, for that. All right. This one comes from Kathy in Ontario, here in Canada. And it is a card that you're supposed to stare at and stare at. It's a Magic Eye 3D optical illusion card. So it's not something I've ever been able to do. You stare at those pictures and you see the image inside of it. I don't see them. So if you can see it, I'm going to put it right up here. You can squint and stare, and hopefully you can see the image. To me, it does look like there's a word right here. That's all that I can see. I can't tell you what the word is, but it looks like there's a word right there. So if you can see it, let me know. All right, and on the back, we've got some glow-in-the-dark stickers for Halloween. We've got the Diwali stamp that just took place last week, 24th or something, earlier this week. So thank you, Kathy, for that. And then we have this card that came as a meetup card. Came from Media in Finland. There's a stamp. Unfortunately, it was pen canceled, but still a cool stamp. I haven't seen that one before. It's a different shape. You can see the edges around it here too. So I really like that it's unique. And there are all the people that were in attendance at the meetup in Espoo on October the 4th. So thank you for that. She wasn't done though. Media sent me another one. She was in Tampere, and so she sent me a card when she was off doing some visiting there. And those are the stamps. This one seems to be the very common one, and every time she seems to be matching with another nice new one. Really like that. Thank you for that, Media. Wasn't done. Another one showed up from Media. So with this one, I've got an envelope. You can see again that the common stamp, but another beautiful new one to go with it. And inside, we've got cruise ships. So that's cool. And a lighthouse there, it looks like, or a control tower. So thank you for that. And there's the other card. Let's see the difference in the size. And then she sent a Lego card. Well, that's cool. And this is more of a birthday greeting for me, so I appreciate that she was thinking of me on the birthday enough to send birthday greetings and a Lego card, which is awesome. Okay, now we have this card, and this actually comes from Saskatchewan, and I didn't know the person. This is the first card that I've gotten that as a result of having a P.O. box, someone has just decided to send me a card. So I'm going to read what it says here. Greetings from Ridgedale. Just a note to tell you I've enjoyed your videos since early this year. Keep up all the good work. All the best. So I really appreciate that. It looks like it's from an Elkeef. And it looks like it says Mont at the bottom. So I know I'm pronouncing it wrong or not reading it properly. So if this is you, I hope you will leave me a comment. If you're watching this video, I'd love to keep in touch. I'm glad that you have put your address on it so I can flip this around. I no longer need a card here to protect the address because it's public knowledge now. It's on my videos. I put one up here because she did include her address there so I can write back. But I would love if you leave a comment and let me know. Love the fall view that you have here in the card. Okay, moving along to another one. This one comes from Finland. So if you remember, if I flip back here, Media sent me this card from the exact same meetup. And this one comes from, it says, I saw your P.O. box and wanted to send you a card. Finland has 26 local meets all over for World Postcard Day. That's a lot of meetups. That's cool. They're a big group for it. Here on the back, we have the beautiful Finnish stamp. And this comes from Katrin. So thank you, Katrin, for that. And if you're watching the video, please leave me a comment on it. I really like it. Thank you so much. And then this card is a happy birthday card that comes from Kara in the United States, in Washington. And there are the stamps. Kara sent me another one for Halloween. So we got a birthday one and a Halloween one. You can see the 4 cat looking at the pumpkin. And then on the back, there are the stamps down the side. And we've got lots of nice stickers on there too. And talks about what her kids are going to do for Halloween. There was an interesting thing I heard in, excuse me, I could feel that tickle coming. So I apologize that I coughed on camera. But I was talking to Nicole in Ohio, and she had mentioned that on the last Thursday of October, that's when their kids go trick-or-treating in their area and their counties. I have another friend in Ohio as well who posted a picture of his family trick-or-treating on Thursday, so it must be all over. I don't know if it's in different states that are like that too. Here in Canada, it's the 31st of October. That's Halloween Day, so that's when the kids trick-or-treat. Doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday, Thursday, or a Saturday. That's the day that they go trick-or-treating. So it's interesting to hear that there's different ways that people are trick-or-treating. All right, should move along here. So this was a swap that reached out to me through Postcrossing. It's from Germany, so very nice, and his hometown in Bavaria. Hans, look at that stamp. And then you can see how big the extras are all on it too. We've got 2 of these ones, but this is the one definitely that caught my eye. So thank you, Hans, for sending that to me, for reaching out, asking to do a swap. I really appreciate it. And then this envelope showed up from Portugal. Here's the stamp. And inside there were 2 postcards. This comes from Eric. He is another person who has found me through YouTube. He sent a maxi card. You see the stamp there, matches the card. It says, "Dear That Dad Guy, here's a token of my appreciation for you answering all my questions." Well, you didn't have to send anything for me answering your questions. I really appreciate that you people participate, that you want to be a part of the channel, and that when you ask me a question, I get a chance to actually answer it directly, which is really cool. I like that aspect of those Saturday videos. So that's a plug for this Saturday's video. Tomorrow too, if you haven't put in a question, go put in a question so I can answer it for you tomorrow. Always put it on the last That Dad Guy Answers video. That way when I pull it up, I can see all the questions there. If you put questions in the other videos, good chance I won't get a chance to see it. But so thank you Eric, for that. So he sent that. On the other side, he's included 2 more stamps. Now this was inside of an envelope, so he didn't need to put any stamps on it. So I appreciate that he put stamps on the back as well as put one on the front and had it canceled. But the one that really caught my eye, not maxi card's cool, but he sent this. If you can't tell what this is a cork postcard. So I have received a wooden one before, but this is the first time I've ever received a cork postcard. And he put a stamp on that too, so it's all stamped up. And I said, "I think this could be the first one for you from Portugal." Absolutely it is. It's the biggest cork, Portugal's the biggest cork producer in the world, so everything is made of cork, even the postcards. Well, I think that's awesome. And I love the detail on it. It looks like tile work that you would see in a fancy house. So thank you so much, Eric, for watching, for participating with your questions, for reaching out now that I had a P.O. box. He wanted to send me something. He also asked if this was the first thing that I received at my P.O. box. It may have been. The reason I say it may have been is because I go and I check the P.O. box on Fridays. I don't go every day. So I let it build up. So there were a few things in there, as you can see, for this week. But I hadn't received anything for last Friday, so it did arrive in the first week. So it might have been the very first thing in the post box. I don't know. You can stake that claim if you like. The last thing that I got was this envelope. It comes from Wendy here in Canada, and I think it's something I'm going to save for another video as well. So I might attach it to one of my stamp videos, even though it's not stamp related, it's postcard related. But this video has gone long enough, so we're going to tease you with that, and you can tune in for another video and see what Wendy sent from here in Canada. So thanks very much to everyone for sending in all of your cards, for making use of the P.O. box. I love the fact that people are now using that. It gives me even more excitement that I can go check in at the local post office when I'm getting my stamps and also get some postcards while I'm there. And it was interesting when I walked in to check the mailbox, they said, "Are you that dad guy?" I am that dad guy. So that's great. I appreciate it. And I hope you guys had a great week at the mailbox too. Got lots of good things and are sending out wonderful things to other people's mailboxes as well. So have a magical week. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?